I will try to be more specific and try to uh, give the names of companies which are in the green sector and things which are good buys. But for the moment, I mainly wanted to give a warning out, and not that it's just me, but I mean loads of people are doing it. Mm, there is so much information out there pointing to one direction, and that's mm, if we don't see any change, and I don't see any big change coming. I mean, which would prevent the crash, because if you just look at the depth of so many countries, and it's just growing and growing, you cannot expect to print that much of a money, and and things to be well for the long term. Some way, uh, some way. I mean, at some point down the road, it has to be some kind of big change, because it's not sustainable. If you just take a look at countries like Venezuela, uh, if you just look at the situation about the hyperinflation which occurred there, you're gonna be quite close towards possible, and I mean, you're going to be able to see that it's not reversing, number one, and number two, that it happens so suddenly that you don't have time to prepare for it, unless obviously you have some insight in advance. But you have to be looking for anything to be able to find it, right? I mean, if you're just living your life, and even if you're just watching the news, I mean, I don't rely on the news, not at all. I don't want to say anything bad about it, but I mean, not everyone, uh, not everyone is going to be thinking the best for you. I mean, you're generally thinking good things about yourself, your family, your closest friends. Not a lot of people are warning the masses. There is not that many people who would care about someone unless it's themselves. So it's just how people are. And there is that other thing, that when you try to warn people about something in that kind of a scale, can you imagine like banks saying, which they already have, by the way, even they started to warn on the mainstream medias about a potential crash coming. But and why would the Fed, the Central Bank of America, why would they be uh, so concerned? Why would they print that much of money, and why would they lower the interest rate as well, if they wouldn't, if they wasn't concerned about the situation? I mean, if you know where to look, it's not that it's not that hard to see where things are headed. And if you look at the past, the Federal Reserve, they've even tried to sustain and to maintain a certain level of debt, and the plan was to lift it up 2008 and 9, and just lower it down again, but they couldn't. They weren't able to, because when you have a big amount of debt, and if you're not prepared for the next volatility like now, I mean, if you don't save up some money and you end up in a situation like that, with a situation which we are in, which we are all in since I would say, I don't know, about the beginning of this year. So if you're not prepared for that, and if you enter that kind of situation with debt already, so the only way you can get out, and that's not quite a good exit, but still, is to print even more money, which they already have, and they're constantly discussing if they're gonna keep giving more stimulus checks for the US citizens or no. But I guess all the guys which are responsible at the moment, which have the power to do stuff, they don't have too much options, do they? They have to give stimulus checks. If they don't give stimulus checks, how are the people supposed to be buying food? How are the people supposed to be paying rent?